Okay.
Okay, so our guest today is Sharon Waxman, founder and editor of TheWrap. And back in 2008, there was Variety and The Hollywood Reporter. And then in 2009, there was TheWrap, Variety, and Hollywood Reporter. Is that the right order, Sharon?
Yes, that's the right order. Thank you.
Well, you've been a reporter, a foreign correspondent, nominated for Pulitzer, but let's talk about the entertainment news business. You took on famous Variety in the movie Capital. How did that pitch go 15 years ago? Sounds like David and Goliath.
I think it was a very compelling pitch at the time because it was a time of massive disruption for media. It was maybe the second or maybe the second cycle of major disruption to traditional print media. Variety was very slow at the time. Hollywood Reporter was really teetering. Honestly, it was that thin, really just a few pages a day. They had almost no digital presence at the time. Variety was behind a paywall and had and gave really no weight to that. So our whole pitch was we are the digital answer to what people in the entertainment industry need to get the information that's critical to their success in their business. And that was actually a very compelling pitch for anybody who was in the industry. And like any disruptor at the time, you're taking a risk. But the truth is, both Variety and the Hollywood Reporter, as these kind of creaking legacy media companies, were both sold within 2 years after I started TheWrap, and completely changed their approach.
So you did come in as a firebrand. Did you have to get investors at that time, or were you
I did. Yeah,
self-funded?
yeah. I raised a couple of $1 million from Mavron. Was my the venture capital firm was founded by Howard Schultz of Starbucks and run by his collaborator Dan Levitan, and they took a big chance on me and lots of other, about I'd say half a dozen other investors, and then friends and family, of course.
What does the industry need to know about now that it didn't back then?
What's interesting, and we're speaking on the eve of our business conference, our annual conference called The Grill, where we grill top executives about their performance, their views, their plans for their companies. I say every year that the industry is in the throes of change, and what keeps changing about that change is the velocity of that change. And every year I say, well, the velocity is just ratcheted up. And this year, a year and a half after the introduction of AI, I think we all appreciate that, velocity needs to have a different kind of definition when we're talking about a leap forward technologically, like AI represents. This year, we have two really incredibly wise, veteran, experienced investors and business operators. We have Peter Guber, who has run Mandalay Pictures forever, since he used to run Sony Entertainment. Now he pivoted into sports before everybody else did. He's an owner of the Golden State Warriors. He's a co-owner of the LA Dodgers. So he's coming to speak along with Jeff Sagansky, who is used to run CBS, used to run NBC, and now he is a major financier, and he's just created part of this whole SPAC trend where these companies go public without having to really go public. And he's done that for Lionsgate and DraftKings and other major companies. So this is really and very unpredictable. We are certainly at an inflection point for the entertainment industry, and we have been in a state of constant change for digital media since I started TheWrap.
So you have endless analytics, page views, subscriptions to judge how you're doing. But first comes stories. What is the perfect story for TheWrap?
A great story for us, I would say, is something that brings to life the people who work in this industry. That's a lot of what we try to do, is not just talk about the trends, which are really important because these trends are really driving this change that we're talking about. But to me, it's really important that we break it down into the human beings who make up the industry. So when we are talking about, as we have this year quite a lot, 15% layoffs at Paramount, thousands cut from Disney. You know, those are real human beings who are affected by these changes. So we did do a series this year that was called Hanging On in Hollywood, which is about individual stories of people who, one was a hairdresser, one was a production executive, one was a reality show director. It's a whole array of people who are affected up and down the line. And, you know, we have a story coming out about why reality television production has fallen off something like 40% in the city of LA this year. It's massive. There's tons of people in reality TV who are out of work. So we're sort of extending it across the whole sector of reality television, which everybody thought was a really cheap way to make entertainment, to do spin-offs. And for the ones that work, like the Beverly Hills Housewives, it's great. But there's lots and lots of others that are just being kind of eliminated or dialed out of existence. And so we're looking at why that is. This was a huge trend in television for the past 15 years. And now they're pulling back significantly. So all of those things that I'm sort of raising, which are the business factors that drive either success or the lack of success, the rise of the box office, how COVID affected things, the strike, the labor issues, they all roll back to these technological changes in our world that have impacted entertainment and have completely remade the studio system from what we knew for 40 years. So the different ways that we can sort of, you know, take a slice off that story and put a human face on it, I think is really what our job is.
Yeah, I read that story of those series of people. It was very sad. And so you look at the entertainment industry as a whole, which we read about as I read about it as a business. It's like, what does that future look like? Do you do any future casting, or are you just reporting the news?
You know, it's interesting. I'm not great. I'm not real big on predictions. I don't think that's our job as journalists. And I think you're as often wrong when you get into that mode as right. And our job is to really give you a clear-eyed view of what is happening. Sure, we can make some educated guesses about what that means and where that takes us. And I think a lot of us are having that conversation about, well, these secular changes that are happening in the industry, all of this consolidation, people losing jobs, what does that mean? Where is that going? You know, this week, on the week we have to be speaking, Sony's CEO stepped down, Tony Vinciquerra, new guy, Ravi Ahuja, who we had at the Grill last year, is stepping up to be the new CEO. And Tony I talked to him yesterday, and, you know, he was very candid. He said, we are going to go through 18 to 24 months of chaos, was the word he used. Oh. So, you know, this is a CEO on the record, on his way out the door. So it's not his chaos that he's going to have to be dealing with. But that is not an unconventional take on where we're at. So to me, we have to be a really essential partner, like a knowledge partner to our readers who are looking to figure out, what does it look like for me 12 months from now or 3 years from now? I can't tell them what that is, but I can definitely tell them with clarity and honesty and facts what is happening now.
What's happening right now. And how does that impact you? You think, you know, the LA Times has been, you know, they're cutting back all of their coverage, certainly around entertainment coverage. Does it just mean that it's good news for TheWrap, or are you challenged as well? Like,
no, it's never good news for TheWrap when media is declining and when people are falling out of the habit of reading a daily paper or reading a daily online metropolitan news feed. It is not good. It's not good for our community. It's not good for our city. It's not good for us individually. It's just bad. So I really mourn and lament with everybody else the fact that media in Los Angeles has become so weak. And I wish that I could say, hey, that's opportunity for us. Great. I think in general, in the same way that you could argue that people have fallen out of the habit of going to movie theaters, especially during COVID, but mainly with the rise of streaming, It's not great if our movie theaters start to fail. That's a really great form of entertainment. Not only does it sustain an entire economic ecosystem here in Los Angeles, it's also just part of our culture that when we lose that habit, we lose something when everybody's just sitting individually on their couches watching streaming. It's not that different to say that when media starts to falter and people fall out of the habit of reading a news source and are just going to TikTok, we're all the poorer for it. So yes, TheWrap does try to lean into every growth opportunity that we see coming our way. At the same time, that doesn't diminish in any way my desire to see a thriving news ecosystem in Los Angeles. Competitors or not.
Keep thinking, wow, you must be doing well because the others are not.
The reality is, our saving grace has been that we have a very specific audience in a very specific content strategy around that audience, which is about being essential and being a business partner and a business knowledge partner to our readers. Whereas other digital media companies, their whole business model has risen, hit the stratosphere, and then come crashing down to earth. So then you've got like BuzzFeed becomes like the flavor of the moment, and now it's gone. And meantime, the New York Times has managed to see its way through. So there's no silver bullet, there's no magic answer. Certainly people who are in the print business, which we are not, we are digital first, and we do print. And here's one, like you're very happy to have done this magazine, which
I love that magazine. I get it. And it's
you get it? Oh,
I
amazing,
do.
Tracy.
I do. I love
Well,
it.
I will tell you, having put HBO on the cover, they won Best Comedy at the Emmys, and this was our last Emmy season cover. They were very happy about that. So I do love all the platforms. I love video. I love digital. I love the printed word. We do actually coffee table books now. Also, that is a new thing that we're doing that is kind of a common intersection of art and fashion and entertainment. That's a new thing. So we believe in all the platforms, but print is challenging. And if that's most of your business model, which thankfully for us it is not, then it's going to be a struggle.
I loved your coverage of JD Vance in Hollywood. Is he good for business? I mean, what was your in-house guideline? And what is your in-house guideline for
well,
politics?
I love politics, as you know, Tracy. So it's hard to keep me away from weighing in on that intersection between entertainment and politics, which is the world we're in with Donald Trump running and having been president. But the other interesting is that you have Kamala Harris, who is so close to so many people in Hollywood. She's really close friends with Dana Walden, who runs ABC. She's really close friends with John Feldheimer, who runs Lionsgate. She is, I have people calling me all the time saying, don't forget to mention that there were really good friends. My boss is really good friends with Kamala Harris. So she lives here in Brentwood. Her husband was an entertainment lawyer. So that really, really interesting. I think if Kamala gets elected, we will not have an example of somebody who is so close to LA and Hollywood since the Clintons, and arguably closer because, of course, she's a California. Her whole career was in California before she went to Washington. So that is a very fun thing for us to do. We'll be, covering some form of the election all the way through in terms of, Jeffrey Katzenberg was running Joe Biden's campaign before Biden dropped out. So that is a very tight connection, and we'll be watching it closely. But even if, God help us, Donald Trump were to win, God help us,
Well,
that
there's a movie.
also.
He has a movie.
Exactly. So there's actually a movie coming out in theaters, I think, in like 10 days that is a dramatization of his life with his apprenticeship with Roy Cohn. So there's no escaping the sort of impact that our political drama has on the entertainment industry. And also because there are so many people in entertainment who are very, very engaged in politics.
It's funny. I started this company just a few months before you started your company.
No kidding.
It was like 6 months difference, and communications, everything's changed. You started digitally. Public relations has changed a lot in what we do. Like, we're on video at this moment. That's not something we would have done, 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you could give a, little future plan for TheWrap, what do you see coming? What's the new thing coming down the pike?
Well, I think AI is changing everything, and I don't know yet how it's changing our business as a media company, but I think it's certainly going to have an impact on us, and it's going to have a major impact on entertainment and all creative industries for sure. So I think the fact that we don't know, there's a lot of unknowns around that, and what the entertainment industry looks like on the way out of that huge seismic shift will impact who we are as a company, because we only exist really in the service of the entertainment industry. And so I do think, though, that there is a huge opportunity for us in that entertainment has expanded. The traditional Hollywood system has contracted and is continuing to consolidate, but entertainment is defined so much more broadly now. And that includes all of the tech companies, and includes YouTube, and includes gaming, and it includes live entertainment. So I think where we see growth and opportunity is in that broadly defined growing category that is entertainment, that is beyond the traditional Hollywood system.
Well, Sharon Waxman, it was a pleasure. Thanks for taking the time. And Shana Tova, you've got.
Shana Tova to you. Thanks, Tracy. It's always so fun to talk to you. Thank you.
Same here. Take care. Good luck with your conference.
Thanks. Let me know if you want to come. I'll get you a pass.